What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you a brand new smelter that I just got done designing. And if you are like me, you really don't like to sit around and wait for your items to smelt. The more time that you're sitting there waiting and waiting for those things to smelt, it's time that you could be building and playing on your Minecraft world. So let me help you make that time period that you're smelting items just a little bit shorter. That way you can get back to building. As you can see, I am finally back to my redstone world. I was kind of locked out of it for a little bit, but now I have regained access since we have the new update. So you will be seeing much more videos here inside of the redstone testing world. This behind me, built out of this lovely new tiled deep slate block, is the, well, I'm not going to call it a super smelter. It's more of a mega smelter. However, it's a lot more simple to build than it looks. Let me walk you through it. I'll show you a real quick rundown of how this thing works, and then we're going to jump into building this thing. So what we have here is a 86 furnace array, and this huge array of furnaces is fed by these two chest minecarts. And you can run this thing with only one chest minecart, however you are going to have slightly slower rates. So this dual chest is really the way to go. That way the furnaces never have a moment that they are not fully stocked with the stuff that you're smelting. This minecart chest on the right hand side is your fuel source, and you're going to basically pile all of your fuel into here, and it's going to evenly distribute every single furnace with whatever fuel you choose to run. And each one will have the exact same amount of fuel inside of it. Along with the items, these will distribute the exact amount of items throughout every single furnace. It was very difficult to synchronize all of these, but after many hours, I was able to make it work. And I do believe that this thing is as perfect as I'm going to get it. So let me go ahead and turn this thing on and show you guys exactly how this thing works. So as you can see, it launches the cart straight away, and then once this cart passes this detector rail here, it's going to power this piston. When this piston's pushed up, this redstone block is going to power this redstone line, which is going to briefly unpower this piston here. Whenever this piston's unpowered, it's going to release this cart into the same sequence. Now these things are timed perfectly to where they will never collide towards each other and run into one another, and they will evenly distribute everything. This thing is also on a safety to where this cart will not relaunch until this one is returned home. Once it's returned home, it's going to relaunch again, as you just saw. And then once again, whenever it goes over this detector rail, it's going to launch this cart. So these things will be on a continuous loop, going back and forth, and never collide into each other. At the same time, you have your fuel cart, which is constantly going back and forth, distributing all of the fuel to all of your furnaces evenly. And on the very bottom here, we have our pickup system. We have all of our hoppers, which are going to funnel in towards the inside. And then once we get into the inside here, we have all of our droppers, which are going to drop everything down into the water stream. We have our side pushers here, which these are going to push a few blocks in at a time. That way everything is evenly distributed over the hoppers as well. So what you see in front of me is our dropper setup, and this is the very bottom of the farm there. However, to show you how it works, I built this on the side. And how this thing works is you have all of your droppers here, which are fed, of course, by your hoppers that go into the top of them. And these are all facing different directions. That way we can distribute the items in each side of the item stream. That way we don't overload our hoppers. We also have our observers that run through here, which is what powers a train of signal to power every one of these droppers. So as you can see, if I go down here and I place down this block, this is evenly going to distribute all of our items throughout this whole 4-block wide water stream. Or as even as we could get it anyways. So after all of our items are dropped out of the dropper, they're going to make their way down into the water stream, and the side pistons, as I mentioned, we're going to basically help straighten the items into evenly dispersing throughout the water streams, and then they will run into these 4 hoppers. Now each one of these hoppers have a separate section of this chest that they go to, and they're going to basically feed this chest at the speed of 4 different hoppers. That way we don't run into many backing up issues. The way that we use this farm is we're going to climb up this ladder here, and you're going to place all of your items evenly inside of these 2 chests, and you want to split both of these evenly throughout these 2 chests. Once you've done that, you're going to drop back down here and hit this top lever. This top lever is going to turn the furnace array on, and very shortly you'll start seeing items dropping out of the bottom. Now what you're seeing here is actual footage of the speed of this thing. It is not sped up in any way, shape, or form, and you can see just how fast this thing smelts items. This furnace is able to smelt a complete double chest of items, full stacks of 64 throughout the entire double chest in just 9.5 minutes. And if you're smelting ores and you change out these furnaces for blast furnaces, it's a whole lot faster than that. If you're one of those people that just really don't like the ticking of the droppers, then you can just leave this lever off for a while until this thing is done smelting. No worries, if you leave it off, then you don't have to worry about this thing backing up. There's plenty of storage inside of the droppers and also the line of hoppers, so you never have to really worry about this thing backing up. Unless you leave this thing off for eternity, then, well, one, you're never going to get your items, and two, it's going to back up. However, if you don't like the sound of the droppers ticking, then just hit this whenever everything is done smelting, and you'll get all of your items at once. What you are seeing here is actual speed. None of this footage is sped up, so these are really coming out that quickly. And it's basically going to fill up your chest very, very quickly. One more thing, if you really want this thing fast, then you can switch everything out to blast furnaces. These blast furnaces have a lot more of a use now after the 1.17 update, now that we are going to be smelting a whole bunch of not only ores but also raw ores and a bunch of other things. However, keep in mind with the blast furnaces you will only be able to smelt the ores, so you're not going to be able to smelt any of the stone, cobblestone, or any of your other regular materials. Now I'm not going to hit this switch, that way you can see the actual true rates of this with the blast furnaces. Again, none of this footage is sped up. So give it a second for the furnaces to load and then you'll see it start smelting. And again, none of this footage is sped up, so this is actually how fast this thing is smelting all of these gold ingots. One thing to note, you can change these all out with smokers as well. However, I don't think anybody is going to have or need that much meat to smelt, so I don't recommend doing so. But hey, if you want to, the option's there. Let's jump into building this thing. So as always, everything that you're going to need to build this thing is inside of the description below. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that like button for me if you like the video. If you really like the video and you have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the bell notification as well. I do try to upload at least 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 videos a week, and I already have a ton of videos on my channel, so check it out. So to get started, you want to mark out a 16 by 16 chunk. And in order to do that on Bedrock Edition, if you don't know how to, you can go on my channel and find the leaf method that's listed under my shorts playlist. And that will basically show you an incredible way to find the chunk borders inside of the Minecraft Bedrock Edition. We definitely want to align this thing in the chunk, that way we don't have rails crossing over a chunk border, which is going to end up deleting minecarts in the future. So you definitely want this thing to be aligned. And once you have aligned your chunk borders, you basically want to mark out the corners like I've done here. Each one of these gold blocks are the very corner of the inside chunk. So we have a 16 from gold block to gold block and 16 from gold block to gold block this way. One thing to note before we get started is all of my furnaces, the faces on them are facing west. And the reason why that's important is because it might affect how the rails are able to be laid down. With all of these, I'm going to show you the easier way to lay these down while I'm building this furnace. However, if it's facing any other direction, it might be more difficult to get these rails to lay down and not want to connect to all of these other ones, causing them to turn into a giant ball of yarn. So if I want my furnaces facing west, then I'm going to have the front of the farm here, which is going to be facing east. And that's going to mean that I need to start building on this southeast block here, facing in towards these other 3 ones. What we want to do is count in by 3, so counting this gold block, it would be 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to build up by 3. Once you have done that, you are going to grab your furnaces and you are going to turn 180 degrees to where you are facing east, and then you're going to place down your first furnace. Again, this furnace should be facing west if you're building it like me. And if you're going to build these with smokers or a blast furnace, this is the time that you're going to want to change these out. So substitute this furnace for what other furnace that you would like to use. Once you have placed this furnace down, you are going to place a temporary block on the face of it, and a furnace, a temporary block, a furnace, temporary block, furnace, and you're going to bring this out by 7 furnaces. Count these furnaces and make sure that they don't pass your chunk border. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you can go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks without removing your furnace. Once you've done that, you can go over here and remove these 3 temporary blocks as well. And now you're going to bring all of these furnaces, if you're facing them, towards the left by 11, making each row 12 furnaces. So after you have done that, you should end up with 84 furnaces. Next, you're going to want to grab your hoppers, and you're going to go to the very center of here. So you're going to count in by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and on your 6th one, you're going to place a hopper under it here and a hopper under it here. Make sure that that is exactly in the middle, and you should have 5 furnaces to each side. Now go ahead and come to the other side, and you're going to do the same thing with each one of these, making sure that they all line up with that first one. You also want to make sure that all of these hoppers are facing down and not in towards one another. Then you're going to go to one of the 2 sides, and you're going to basically face all of these hoppers in towards those hoppers that you just placed down, where they're all facing in like that. And then you're going to face all of these in, facing in towards those center hoppers as well. So everything should be funneling into those 2 central hoppers, just like so. Now we're going to repeat this on all of these other ones. After you get done placing in your hoppers, they should look something like this. You want to make sure that every single hopper is facing in and flowing towards these 2 central hoppers. If one of these are not facing in and they're facing down, you're basically cutting off not only the furnace on top of it, you're also cutting off all of the following furnaces after it. So it's very important that all of these are indeed facing in towards these 2. After you've done that, you're going to grab your hoppers again, and you're going to go to the very back of your furnaces, and you're going to place in a hopper on the back of every single one of your furnaces. Make sure that you place these on the back, not on the front, and you're going to do this for every single one. So the top view should look just like this. Next, you're going to go on top of your furnaces, and you're going to place a hopper on top of every single furnace. Make sure that every one of these hoppers are facing into the top of the furnace. Alright, once you're done with that, it should look just like this. Again, make sure that all of your hoppers are facing into the very top of the furnaces themselves. After you've done that, are you ready to place some more hoppers? No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Please don't hurt me. The next thing that we want to do is move on and start placing our glass in. So grab your glass, and you're going to go to the back of the furnace looking at the faces here. And you're going to go all the way to the side, and on the side of your very top hoppers, you're going to place down a piece of glass on each one of these. Once you've done that, you're going to go back to the back side again, and on the left hand side, you're going to go all the way over here, and on these middle hoppers here, you're going to place down a piece of glass on each one of these. After you've placed in your glass, we're going to go to the back of the furnace again, and we're going to go to the right side here. And on the middle hopper, on this side, you're going to place in a solid block of your choice on the side of every one of these hoppers here. And then on this glass block here, you're going to place down a solid block here and here. And you're going to bring this all the way across. And then you want this to line up with that glass block here. Now we're going to go to the left side here, and we're going to place in some more solid blocks. So you want to place in a solid block on the side of each one of these furnaces, on every single one of these. And then you're going to build each one of these up by 2. And then you're going to want to place a solid block right here on this piece of glass, and you're going to bring this all the way across until it comes out at the front here. Next, after you've done that, you're going to come to this block here on the very left hand side closest to the front, and you're going to place in a solid block here, skip a block, place one here, skip a block, place one here, and then you're going to continue this pattern all the way to the end. You basically want these blocks to line up with each one of these pillars. On this very last one, don't worry about placing a block on the side here. Once you've done that, looking at it from the back side, it should look just like this. This is what you should have so far. After you've done that, you want to grab your rails, you want to grab your powered rails, your regular rails, and your detector rails. Then go to the very left hand side here on this top hopper, and we are going to start placing in our rails. You're going to place in the powered rails all on top of these top hoppers here. Once you've done that, looking at the rear of the smelter, you're going to go to the right hand side, and on this piece of glass you're going to place down a regular rail. Then you're going to grab your detector rails and place a detector rail on each one of these pieces of glass. So it should look just like that once you're done. Next, take your regular rails and place regular rail here, 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 and here. One thing to note, don't place anything but a regular rail here. You might be tempted to place a powered rail here. However, if you do that, then it's going to change the speed, and this entire thing runs off of the timing. So you want this to be the same speed as the rest of these detector rails. So go ahead and leave this a regular rail. Next thing that you want to do is come to the back of the smelter again and come up to the top. We're going to start placing in all of our powered rails on these lower hoppers here. So go to the right hand side and start working your way all the way to the left. You want to place a powered rail on every hopper, excluding the very last hopper. So once you get to the end, don't place a rail here. We're going to take care of that here in a little bit. Do this on each one of these hoppers all the way until you reach the very last one at the very end. Once you have done that, it should look just like this from the rear of the smelter. Then come to the left hand side here, and we're going to start placing rails on top of this here. Now this can be a little bit more tricky, so what you want to do is remove all of these here, all the way across. And you're going to make sure that you grab these on survival mode, grab these out of your furnaces. So you're going to grab these out of each furnace, that way you don't have anything plugging up your smelter array. After they're all broken, they should all be in a line just like this, and then you can start bringing these forward on the very bottom. Do not extend the top ones yet, only extend these bottom ones until they meet up with the glass. So again, it should look just like this, and this should be on the left hand side if you're looking at it from the rear. Then you're going to grab your detector rails and your rail, and on this very last one, on the very left hand side, you're going to place down a regular rail, and then on the rest of these glass blocks, you're going to place down a detector rail. Just like so. Then we're going to place down a regular rail at the end of each one of these detector rails. And then you're going to place down a powered rail in between all of these regular rails that you just placed down. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and grab your redstone torches and place down a redstone torch on each one of these blocks that you built out a little bit ago. So it should look just like that once you get done. Next thing that you want to do is grab your glass and your redstone torches, and you're going to want to come to one of the two middle blocks on the inside here, and you're going to place down in the middle, you're going to place down a piece of glass on each one of these powered rails in the middle on top of the lower hoppers, just like so. Make sure that you're placing these on the lower hopper rails and not on the upper hopper rails. Next, you're going to grab your redstone torches and place down redstone torches on each side of this glass block, here and on this side as well. You might be able to get by with just one side of redstone torches, depending where you place your block at. However, I like to do both sides because the redstone torches are cheap and it makes it look consistent. Once you've done that, every one of your powered rails should light up, just like so. Then we can go back over here to our top hoppers and place down all of these powered rails in. You want to do this in this sequence to keep the rails from connecting to each other. Next thing you want to do while looking at the back of the furnace, you want to come to this right hand side, and on these lower powered rails that are directly above these solid blocks, you're going to place a solid block on top of each one of these temporarily, all the way across to the very end. Then you want to grab your powered rails, and you're going to bring these powered rails all the way across, just like so. And then you can go ahead and remove these solid blocks. You want to make sure that these are solid blocks. Do not use glass, because these rails will try to connect through the glass. And once you are done with that, it should look just like this. Then you can go ahead and grab your solid blocks again along with your torches and place a solid block next to each one of these powered rails. And then you can also take your torches and place your torches down as well. So it should look just like this if you are viewing your furnace array from the rear. However, I do want to turn our focus all the way around, and we are going to start focusing on the front of the furnace array. So you should be looking at these hoppers going into the very back of these furnaces. So what we want to do at this point is go all the way to the right hand side here, and we're going to place down a solid block here, and we're going to build this left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then next, what we want to do is place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, remove this temporary block, and then we're going to place down a powered rail on the very top here, and then we're going to place down regular rail, powered rail, powered rail, powered rail, and another powered rail here, regular rail here. Grab your solid block, place the solid block in the center here between these 3 different rails, and place down a redstone torch right in the center to light these 4 powered rails. Next thing that you want to do is go down here underneath this and place down a redstone torch here, and then we're going to place down a solid block here, here, and one underneath. And then you can go ahead and place down your minecart with the chest in it. Now, this minecart and the chest might need to go back and forth for a couple minutes until it goes over each one of these detector rails. That way it straightens out the rails in the position that they need to be in. However, if you see your minecart going back and forth all wonky, then it might just need a couple more minutes for it to straighten out all of these rails in the position that they need to be in. However, if it does it any longer than that, then you might have another issue, and please refer to this and make sure that everything is exactly the same as this. Once your minecart reaches the very end, it should bounce off and then return all the way back along this rail back to home. And then once you get all the way back over here, you can remove this torch, and whenever the minecart is done making its run through each one of these lanes, it will return all the way home. And at this point, the minecart should find its way all the way home, and without that torch underneath it, it will stop there. So go ahead and remove that torch, and then we'll move on to the next step. So next you want to grab your droppers, your observers, and your stairs. And what you want to do is you want to grab your droppers, and you want to come to the center of your furnace array where these 2 hoppers are facing straight down. You want to go to this right hand side dropper, and you're going to place a dropper down facing towards the right of this furnace array, just like that. And then you're going to place down a dropper here, but instead of facing it towards the right of the furnace array, you're going to face it towards the front, just like that. And then you're going to go to the side and place down another one facing towards the right of the furnace array. Place down another one facing towards the front. Place down another one facing towards the right. And then you're going to place down another one facing towards the front. And then the very last one you want facing towards the right. So they should look just like this by the time you get done. Make sure that these are all on the right side of this hopper facing down, going all the way to the very back of the furnace array. Now at the very back of the furnace array, what we want to do is we want to place down another dropper here facing towards the left side of the furnace array if you're looking at it from the front. And then you're going to place down another one facing this way towards the back of the furnace array. So this whole side is going to be directly opposite of this whole side. So this one's going to be facing towards the left, and then these are going to be facing towards the back of the furnace array. So that one, and that one are all going to be facing towards the side. And then you're going to have all of these facing towards the back of the furnace array. So again, you end up with this one facing forwards and this one facing back, and then this one's facing that way and this one's facing this way, and then this pattern repeats: forwards, backwards, side to side, forwards, backwards, side to side. They should all look just like that. Once you have done that, you're going to go ahead and grab your stairs, and on these droppers that are facing out, you're going to turn and place down a stair just like that, to where the bottom of the stair, the opening, is going to be facing the opening of your dropper. You're going to do that on each one of these that are facing towards the back of the furnace array. Make sure that you place down your stairs properly, just like so. And then on this one, you're going to do the same thing. And then you're going to make sure that all of these are done, and it should look just like that. Now you're going to go to the opposite side, and you're going to do the same thing on this side. So with the opening here, we want the opening of the stair just like that. And you're basically doing this so these droppers will drop the items straight down. So after you have all of your inside stairs placed, now we're going to start placing the stairs on the outside here. So we want to come inside of this little hole here, and we're going to crouch and place down a stair here, and make sure that these openings are again matched with the opening of the droppers. That way they can drop the items out. And the purpose of these stairs are to allow our droppers to drop the items straight down instead of shooting them all over the place. You're going to do this with each one, ensuring that each stair that you place lines up with the dropper the way that it should, just like that. And then you're going to do this other side as well. So after you get done, it should look just like this. You want to double check and make sure that every single one of these droppers has a stair in front of it and that they are all positioned accordingly. Alright, next thing that you want to do is go to the very front of your furnace, and you want to come all the way until you reach these droppers and face up all the way up against them. Then you're going to dig this block out here, and then you're going to dig out 5 blocks away from your furnace. Just like that. Then you're going to dig these out, which are in line with your droppers here. And then you're going to dig out these, which are in line with your stairs. So it should look just like this. Next thing you want to do is you want to dig this all the way out until you are 1 block past the end of your furnace array. So you should be right here. And then you're going to dig this over by 4 and dig this entire 4 by 20 block section out. So once we are done digging out that hole, this hole should be 4 blocks wide by 20 blocks deep, and again it should be coming out 6 blocks from the side of this dropper out of the front of the furnace array. So you should have 6 blocks here. This is going to give us a little bit of room to work, so what we want to do is go to the front of the furnace array. We're going to go to this left dropper here, and we're going to place down 2 temporary blocks on the left of that dropper. Then you're going to remove this temporary block here, grab your observers, and we're going to place an observer facing into that temporary block that you just placed down. This observer should have the arrow facing back towards the back here, and then after that you want to go ahead and place an observer facing into the back of each one of these droppers, going in a staggered pattern. And you're going to place your observers in the opening here. So place this here and ensure every time you place an observer you have the arrow facing back towards the back of the smelter array. So go ahead and place all of these in, and then once you reach the very back you want to verify that all of these are facing towards the back here. Once you have done that, you want to grab 14 items, and you want to place in 1 item in each one of your droppers. If you are confident that you have done all of this correctly, you can skip this step. However, to verify that all of your droppers are indeed firing and working correctly, it's nice to place all of these in just to verify that you have not missed anything. Go ahead and finish doing this, and then we will proceed to the next step. Once you have placed in all 14 of your items, 1 in each one of these droppers, you can go ahead and remove this block on the face of this observer. If you've done everything correctly, you should see each one of your droppers dispense an item, and you should have 14 items on the ground laying in a pattern just like this. If you have picked up all of your items and there's 14, then you can go ahead and move on to the next step. However, if you have not, you need to find out which item is stuck in which hopper and fix the issue and review the video. Once you've done that, you want to come down to the very back of the furnace array, and you're going to count out by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. On the 9th block, you're going to dig this out, and you're going to dig this out in this direction by 8. So 1, 2. Once you have done that, if you're facing the front of the furnace, you're going to go down here and you're going to dig this out by an additional 2, just like this. And it should be facing in that direction towards the rear of the furnace array. Then you're going to jump down here and you're going to ensure that you have 6 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to come over here, grab your hoppers, and then you're going to place down a hopper into the side of each one of these pieces of dirt. Make sure that they are facing into the pieces of dirt, and then you're going to place down a hopper facing into the back one of each one of those hoppers. Now you can go ahead and remove this top layer of dirt here. And then once you've done that, you want to come to the front of the furnace array again and dig out these 4 blocks. Grab your chest and you're going to place a double chest dead in the center. Then you're going to grab your hoppers and face a hopper into the side of each one of these double chests. The reason why we're doing it this way is because we have each line of hoppers, which are an independent line of hoppers, and these 2 are going into the back of this chest, and this line is going into this side of the chest, this line's going into this side of the chest. What this does is this gives us 4 different hopper lines going into one chest, which is going to give us 4 times hopper speed. Next, you can go ahead and dig this down by 1, and then you can place down a solid block here, a solid block here, and then place glass across the top for now. Then you can grab your stairs and you can place down a stair here and a stair here. Turn around and place down a stair here all the way across. And then you want to make these stairs travel upwards. Once you've done that, it should look just like this. Then the next thing you want to do, facing towards the front of the furnace, is grab your water, and then we're going to add in our water streams down here. So go to the very back of the furnace array and place water all the way across here, and it should flow and stop right there. Then you can go ahead and place in more water here, and it should flow over these hoppers. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and grab your regular pistons, and then you want to go to where this water stream is, where it just comes over the ledge here. You're going to break this block and this block. You're going to place down a regular piston here and a regular piston here. Once you've done that, it's time to start building the clock that's going to actually run this thing. So you want to go ahead and grab your solid blocks, something that redstone could pass through, and you're going to go to this block that's directly in line with this observer, and you're going to place down a block here and a block here. Go ahead and remove that piece of glass that's in front of it. Then you're going to grab your 2 levers and place a lever here and a lever here. Next, you want to grab one of your sticky pistons, and you're going to place a sticky piston here facing upwards, just like that. You want to make sure there is one gap between that and the observer. Then you're going to place down a block here temporarily, place down a block here to the left side, one to the right side, and one to the top. Remove that center block. After that, you're going to grab your redstone dust, your redstone repeater, and also your redstone torch. And then you're going to place down redstone dust in front of that observer. To the block to the right, you're going to place a redstone torch to the right of that block. Then you're going to grab one of your solid building blocks that redstone could pass through. Place a building block on top of that redstone torch with a repeater facing out of it towards the left, and place that on a 2-tick delay, just like so. You can go ahead and turn your top lever on. That's going to stop the clock from running. And then once you've done that, you're going to want to place a block here and place a torch down here and here. Place down a block on the very top with redstone dust on the very top, just like that. Now whenever you go ahead and turn on that top lever, it should flash and allow that cart to be launched, just like so. Then once you turn that top lever off, it's going to turn off that redstone dust, unpowering that launching pad. Now at this point you can go ahead and repeat this design on the other side if you would like to have a single cart launch. However, I do highly recommend the double cart launch because you're going to get a lot better rates out of this smelter. So in order for us to build the double launching pad, what we are going to do is we're going to come on this left side. What you're going to want to do is place down a block here and a block to the right of it. Then you're going to place down a block here and a block to the left of it, just like that. Then you're going to build this to the right by 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which should give you 7 in total. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next thing you want to do, come to the right hand side, and we're going to build this out by 3. And then we're going to build this out by 1 and bring this all the way across here. And then connect it here, leaving this 3 by 1 hole inside of the center here. Next thing you want to do is place down a solid block here and a solid block here. Grab your 3 different rails. We're going to grab our regular rails, detector rails, and powered rails, and you're going to place down a powered rail here, regular rail here and here, a powered rail here, a regular rail here, and then a powered rail here, 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 and then a detector rail here, a temporary rail here. Remove this temporary rail and place a solid block. Then you're going to come to this side here and you're going to place down a detector rail, a powered rail, and then a detector rail here and a temporary rail. Remove that temporary rail and place down a solid block. So it should look just like this whenever you get done. Then you're going to go to the center here. Then you're going to place down a solid block right next to this detector rail, just like that. And you're going to build this up on top of that rail, and then you're going to bring this over, and then bring this over, just like so. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and place another solid block here to the side of this rail, and then build this down here, and then one over, just like that. Then you're going to place a temporary block here, a permanent block here, one permanent block underneath, and remove that temporary block just like that. Then you can go ahead and grab your sticky pistons and face a sticky piston in this direction towards the left, and then take a solid block and put on the face of that sticky piston. This sticky piston is going to be what cuts off the redstone line and keeps the carts from launching. So go ahead and grab your redstone and place redstone here, here, and here. Grab your redstone repeater and place a redstone repeater here and place that on 4 ticks delay. Once you've done that, you want to jump down here on this block here, and you're going to take a temporary block and place right there in the center. And then you're going to place down a regular piston right there facing in this direction. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. Then you're going to want to come directly behind this piston and place down 3 more temporary blocks, 1, 2, and 3. Remove these 2, and then you're going to place down another piston facing in this direction. So it should look just like that. After you've done that, grab your solid blocks again, and we're going to place down a temporary block here and a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block, and we can remove this temporary block as well. Then you want to grab your redstone torch and place 1 torch here and 1 torch here. Then you're going to turn around here, and on the bottom side of this block, you're going to place a temporary block and a permanent block there. Break that temporary block, and then build this towards the back of the furnace by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you can go ahead and line this entire thing with redstone dust until it runs into this block. That's going to turn off this torch. Then you can grab your redstone block here, place a redstone block here, grab your sticky piston, and you're going to place down a sticky piston on top of that rail facing upwards. So it should look just like this whenever you get done. Next thing that you want to do is you want to come over here, and on this center block here, you're going to break this, and you're going to jump directly down. You're going to remove this block, and then you're going to build this all the way back up to that level. At this point, you can go ahead and grab your ladders, and you're going to make your ladders go all the way up from here, all the way up to the top. That way you can return access back up to the top. While you're up here, you can go ahead and grab your item frames and place 1 here and 1 over here as well. And then you can place whatever blocks you want in these 2 that show that this is where the smeltable items go. And then on this side over here, if you would like, you can place down a coal block to indicate that coal goes there, or whatever other fuel source that you may have. Next thing that you want to do is grab your torches and place down a redstone torch here. And then you're going to grab your building blocks and place down a block here, here, and here. Then you're going to grab your redstone dust and bring this redstone dust all the way over here until it meets up with the top of that piston. Then you're going to grab your redstone repeater, place down a redstone repeater facing into this block here on 4 ticks delay. Then you want to grab your redstone torches again and place down a redstone torch here. Place down a solid block on top of that redstone torch, a redstone torch here, and a redstone torch here. This piston will extend, and that's going to be what cuts off this redstone line, which is going to shut off your minecarts from being deployed. One of the last things that you want to do is come over here to the right hand side, and where this redstone torch is, you want to place down a solid block here in line with it. Then go ahead and grab your redstone dust and place down redstone there, and then bring this all the way over until it matches up with the top of this piston. Now we are almost there. We just have a few last minute touches, so what we want to do is go ahead and grab a solid block and find this torch here on the right hand side, and you're going to place down a solid block right here. Then what you want to do at this point is grab your redstone dust, and you're going to place down a redstone dust here, and then bring this all the way over until it connects with the top of this piston. Next thing that we want to do is go back to the front of the furnace, and you're going to go to the left hand side here now. And what we want to do is we want to connect to the output for this detector rail down here. We want to connect this to this rail right here to where it can change the rail whenever we find out that we have a minecart that lands on this detector rail. So whenever this returns home, it will change this rail for the other one to return home. So what we want to do is we want to go directly underneath this, and we have a 2 block gap between these two. So we're going to go directly under it, and we're going to place down a temporary block, a permanent block, remove this temporary block, and then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a permanent block, remove that temporary block, a permanent block here, a temporary block here, and a permanent block here, and remove that temporary block. Then you want to go ahead and grab your redstone and place redstone here, here, and here. And then we want to grab our redstone torches and place 1 redstone torch right here. Whenever you place down that redstone torch, you should notice that this rail has actually changed position. So now we can go ahead and check this out and make sure that it is working the way that it should. Come back up here to the top, grab you some glass, and we're going to place a piece of glass on this corner rail here. And then we're going to take our redstone torches and place 1 here and 1 here. That's going to take care of these 2 rails. While we are up here, what we want to do is we want to grab our slabs, and we want to place a lower half slab on every one of these blocks that a mob can spawn on. This one here, you can go ahead and place a lower half slab on it, but the block will move underneath it. Place a block here and here. You can go ahead and place it on all of these spawnable blocks, or you can go ahead and light up the entire area. It's entirely up to you. However, you don't want a creeper spawning on these things and blowing up all of your hard work, so make sure that you mob proof it. These glass blocks, nothing will spawn on these, and nothing's going to spawn on anything else that has rails on it or redstone. So make sure that all of these have lower half slabs on it, and that's going to make this entire thing spawn proof. The very last thing that you want to do is a complete systems check. So what we want to do is climb up here and grab your minecart with the chest inside of it, and we're going to place 1 here and 1 here. You can go ahead and leave stairs here, or you can remove these. It's entirely up to you. However, those don't have to be here. And for now, we're going to leave these empty until we do a complete systems check. And we're going to leave our coal 1 empty as well. Now you want to jump back down here, and you can go ahead and turn on this top lever. Once you turn that on, you should see everything start flashing. These bottom pistons should be going back and forth, just like so. We can go ahead and check out our dropper shut off. So go ahead and extend that and then pull that down, which will pull down that observer, and those droppers should stop clicking. Then you can turn that back on, and that's going to turn on your droppers again. Make sure that you can hear these shut the droppers off and hear them start clicking again. Then you want to come up here, and we should have our minecarts released. And we can go ahead and build a little stairway here. And what we want to look for is this one coming home, and whenever this one comes home, make sure that that rail is facing that way, which is going to send this one home. This one's not going to stay here any amount of time unless the machine is turned off. You want to watch these and make sure that these are releasing at the proper time. This one will wait until this one returns home. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Minecraft Bedrock tutorial video. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys are as stoked with how this thing turned out as I am. This thing took a ton of time for me to design and work out all the bugs, as you can only imagine. However, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It really helps out the channel a ton and helps other viewers find my channel. Also, if you have not already done so, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I post a video once every week, if not 2 or 3 videos if I get the time. And I have a ton of videos on my channel, so go ahead and check it out. I'm sure that you will find something that you will absolutely love on there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.